Today I'm going to introduce to you my painting decision. I'm going to give you a brief summary of the current work I am developing. So recently, within the frame of the pandemic, I was attracted by the concept of heterotopias developed by Michel Foucault in the 70s. So the idea is you have within the society the other spaces, which are, for example, churches, prisons, hospitals, and it's within the society a certain space with its own rules. So I took this concept and I applied this concept to the fact that you have your physical entity and you have the reflection of this physical entity in the digital world. So for me, the digital world are becoming the other spaces. This new painting decision focuses on how in our process of learning and cognitive knowledge we will meet the machine meta-learning. So it's really a story about how in our interaction with the machine we are learning from the machine. For example, if you need an information, you go online, you Google the sentence of the word you need to know. The machine gives you the answer, and how by giving you the answer, the machine is learning from you in your research of an answer, in your cognitive behavior, and also the machine is fed by how you interact with it. To illustrate this thinking, I first started the painting by taking my inspiration from two photos that I found online. So the first photo is a classroom in a university. You can see the chairs aligned looking at an imaginary board, and on the top, on the background, you have an auditorium. So I choose those two photos to really mark the point that you have your physical entity, you go to a university, you go to a classroom to learn. But within the frame of the pandemic, our physical entity had to stay home and to learn digitally. So that's why I implemented then on the top two white cubes. First, it relates to the fact that we are always constrained into a certain space and time, but also it relates to the machine. So it's really like a relationship. To support my theory, I implemented some prints. So those prints are taken from the internet. For example, I wanted to find some drawings of neural networks to first relate to the brain. So it's the brain, like it's a view of the brain function, not only for the machine, but for the human. So it's like versatile for both worlds. Then I embedded the prints of the Peabody Library, because for me it's related to the knowledge in books. So instead of having a digital knowledge, a dematerialized knowledge, it's really linked to the fact that you have the knowledge within the book, so it's more physical. Even if you think that it's language, and the language is in a certain way not physical but exists because we have an interaction. So we have a cognitive and behavioral connection. That's why we can read the language into books and then translate this knowledge, this language into the digital world. Then I added some prints showing the blueprint of a building. I did 2 of them. Have first, as a human, a need of a certain space and be protected to be in this space, like you need a home, I would say, a physical home, but also the machine to survive, to exist, need a certain home. So it relates also to the other spaces, because the machine needs a building where it stands with certain rules. And the rules are, like, for example, for its own survival, you need to provide some air conditioning, you need to provide a certain flow of electricity. And for us, it's the same thing. To survive, since ages, we need to be protected. And in each home, also, you have your own rules. So it's like a parallel between the human and the machine and their own survival in their own space. But then, as we interact online, as we get our knowledge online, the machine studies us for a kind of productivity and to give us a sort of productive answer within the fact that in our research as we strive for knowledge, it needs to be productive, but also in the reverse mode to exist from others which are not close to us, which are in their own entity, physical entity, their own, I would say, not box, but their own home. We need to interact online, and then we become a kind of functionality for the machine which spreads our existence to others and which share our behavioral knowledge with others. So that's why I used the blueprints of buildings. Also, I wanted to show a print of ARPANET because it's the origin of the internet through blocks of knowledge. And finally, I was really interested by the work of Francois Chollet and how you measure the intelligence of the machine, because the machine is learning from us, we are learning from the machine, but we need to know, like for kind of convergence, to know, for example, what is the intelligence of the machine. And for example, now it's not the case, but it might become the case in the future. The machine will develop a kind of cognition, as also with our interaction with the machine, our consciousness slightly but surely shifting to a different path, and our pattern of behaviors is changing. Because, for example, nowadays, if you live in a big city, most of us, before we leave the home, we use Google Maps to go to point A to point B to make sure we avoid traffic, or also for better productivity, to go faster. We use self-driving cars. Like if you have a self-driving car, you are completely monitored by the machine. So all those kind of interaction which are more related to behaviors. Also, if you run, some of us have monitors to make sure the heartbeat is good, or if we use enough calories, things like that. So it's really like the machine is learning from our behavior. Finally, to link all those elements, I draw some networks. So I like to draw some different networks, decentralized, centralized, and distributed. But those networks, the way I draw them with ink marker, they become like imaginary networks. Finally, I designed a white shape which has a form of a triangle, and this white shape is like a veil. So first it reveals the different layers you have onto the painting. So for example, if you wear 3D glasses, the people who are visiting the studio, they can wear 3D glasses and you will see all the layers. Because for me, you have to see the society with layers. Like an algorithm, it works with data and it applies layers of data. When you envision the world, you need to see all the layers which are making the society. And also, it's related to Plato, the allegory of the cave, because this shape is transparent, so it acts like a veil that you need to unravel. And it's really like the fire, you have the fire on the cave, on the wall of the cave of Plato. And for me, this veil is like the pixels. It's not the fire anymore. It's the pixels you have, and you need to go through those pixels. So that's why you need to see all the layers which are making your environment. You need to see through them. So this is it for today. If you have any question, I will be happy to answer them. You can follow me on Instagram, EmilieDuval49, and also I have a website where you can find the descriptions of my paintings. And also you can go on LinkedIn, Google my name and find me on LinkedIn. And that's it for today. I hope you enjoyed the presentation and see you for our next painting.